We're back. So, this is my season of my podcast. I'm back. It took me a couple of months to be back. I'm happy to be back with you guys. Um, this is gonna be a permanent thing because I literally took some time off to analyze how I'm gonna do each and every one of those things, such as getting ready for world championships and how I'm gonna talk about those things. It's gonna be such an amazing experience to be discussing track and field with you guys. Um, it's been a while since we discussed anything seriously with the spam of everything that has been going on. I would like to just thank you guys for all the subscription, all the projects and everything that has been going on my channel. So I'm very excited to like share the news with you guys, um, especially people that hasn't subscribed to the channel. Like I said, there's a bit of everything for everyone here. So the fact that I'm still able to like talk about those things and have conversation with you guys, it means a lot. um, Definitely, like I said, the World Championship is tomorrow. So I'm definitely gonna be giving you guys some brief understanding of like what's gonna be going down because I also have the schedule of each of the events that's going to be happening at the World Championships. And like I said, my podcast is gonna be every Friday, which means that we're gonna start from 10:30 to 12:30, which means it's gonna be an easier time to do the podcast each Friday, which is better and it's more convenient. And then I will also leak the link down below for like if you have like any questions, you guys could post it on the chat. Um, and then I wouldn't mind answering them. That's something that I think is pretty normal for a lot of athletes or anybody that has an interest in track. You guys could literally ask questions, and I'll gladly answer them. But definitely, let's talk about some predictions of what we might think the world championships like who's gonna win and their individual events, and will there be a world championship record falls? Like for an example, Miss Florence Griffith Joyner's record, who literally had been the prominent female to have not only the 100 and the 200 world championship, you know, the world record itself. So the world record for the women's is 10.49, and then the world record for the 200 for the women's is also held by Flojo with a time of 21.34, if I'm not mistaken. So there's a lot of people coming into the world championship right now, which is pretty amazing. We have Sharika Jackson, who just dropped an insane time a couple of weeks ago with a time of 21.55. So she is the third fastest woman of all time behind Elaine Thompson Hero with the time of 21.53, if I'm not mistaken. And then we have Flojo herself to have the record. Um we also have Mary Ducott, who is the world record holder for the 400 meters, with a time I think 47.60, if I'm not mistaken. So the fact that we have a lot of athletes coming in, and my bet for the winning team, you could definitely add Shawnee Miller Weeble on there, for the 400, because we haven't seen Sawa D Nasser, who hasn't competed yet. So that's someone that I really want to see come back and compete. Um, Definitely, we have some heavy hitters coming into the World Championship tomorrow, especially coming from the Jamaicans team. Um, Now, let's look at the lane assignments for like the times for each of them. Now, Like I said, it is not going to be an easy world championships. Like I told you guys before, from all the videos that I have done leading up to the world championship now, it is hectic. Like if I look upon the lane assignments and how they schedule everything, some of the things will have semifinals and finals like back to back. So which means you will not even have time to like recover for your next or even further on to the next abil you know next race. So I'm looking at my phone right now. If you guys could see, I am gonna be reading the schedule for you guys. So at 9:05, you will have the men's hammer throw. At 10:10, you will have the men's high jump. At 10:30, you will have the men's hammer throw qualifying rounds. You will have the mixed 4x4 relay for round one. You will have the women's hammer throw. Then you will have the first men's prelim, which will start on 10, 12:30. Then you will have the women's 2K race walk final. Then you will also have the women's hammer throw and the men's race walk, women's shot put, women's 3,000 steeplechase, the women's pole vault, and the men's long jump, as well as the women's 1500. And then we go right back to round one of the men's 100 meters. And then we will end the day one of the world championship with the mixed 4x4 relay final. So it is. I saw that they're making the relays earlier than usual. So I know one of the my favorite athletes. She's actually gonna be running the mixed 4x4 instead of the 4x1 and the 4x4 for the women's. So Allison Felix, this will be her last race competing. She literally, stated that on her channel as well as on her social media pages that you know the World Championship should be her last stop besides the other small diamond leagues and Monaco leagues that's going to be happening after World Championships. So the fact that she is timing herself perfectly to retire at that this year, when we talk about Allison Felix and we talk about what she has done in the world of track and field and what she has committed herself to do outside the track, you could pretty sure that she done a wonderful job to cement herself in history. She literally done it all, from 2003 all the way up to now. She has been nothing but graced us with the track. And one factor, guys, she has made every Olympic team since she debuted in 2004, which was her first Olympics, which is pretty amazing. The second thing that I could say that's people that are coming in to not, understand about track and field is that it takes a lot to even maintain, your form in track and field, but to be the best at it for so long, that's legendary status within itself because you're not only fighting people to win spots, but you're beating people that's either fresher legs than you or even stronger, and then you're still beating them because of tactics and because you're a veteran. So how long you've been in the world of track and field determines how fast you're gonna be in the future and the responsibility. Like you have to be a disciplined athlete in order for you to run certain events. I always recommend that to Allison to be so poised, but at the same time learn how to speak up when things are not right. She even stated that herself, like because she's been in the top for such a long time, she was able to find a place where to use her influence, her voice to help other, women around in order for her to like literally get what she needed to get. So that's very, empowering to me to see athletes speaking up to help other athletes out. That's something that I think we all should, strive for. But yeah, this will be her last, championship meet. So I'm so excited. She's just dropping and keeping up with work. Mm. She's dropping and keeping up the work. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, so like I said, we have so much that we're gonna be talking about. So I another prediction that I really wanted to talk about is that not even in a million years I would be, well, not a million years, but not even like 33 or more years that we will be sitting here talking about how the world record is going to be broken, and either in the 4x1, which the US actually has the world record in the women's side with the time of, I think, 40.82, which is pretty good. um, they've been holding that time since, I think, 2012, which they broke that record in 2012. So it's nearly, I think, 11 or 10 years now. So the fact that nobody hasn't got close to it, and that's another thing I tell people, to run a 4x1 or 4x4, your team has to have something called chemistry. Like, you could have all fast people in the lane, but if nobody can't learn how to pass the baton around, then that becomes a problem. Like, we even saw that in the 2016 Olympic Games, where coming in, they said that the team for the US was the fastest team. But what ended up happening is we had a Brazilian that impeded Allison because she was so close to her, and she dropped the baton. So the US got disqualified, and they had to basically qualify themselves by running by themselves and still making the team and still managing getting on the podium. Like, that is insane within itself. And the fact that even though they qualified to go to the rounds, they basically got lane one, which, when you're in lane one and you're running the 4x1, you're not really contacting with your competitors. You're literally far away. You're not really seeing the side of competition. You're just running because you're so far out from everybody else. That's why I always recommend, like, people that's running 4x1s, you tend to be in lane either lane 3, lane 5, lane 4. Those are where you're stagging up with the competitors. So it's pretty good to see things like that. Um, that's why I say this world championship is probably the most significant one, because not only people are coming to the US turf to run some of their fastest time, and plus, when we look at the geological area of where Oregon and Eugene, the place of where Eugene is, and how that will play a factor or a favor of how each athlete will do individually. Some athlete never touched Eugene, Oregon, Hayward Field. Some, this is their first time coming in to see the new track. And out of all, from what they said, out of all the tracks, this is probably the fastest one. So to see that type of track to be so fast, but at the same time you know, to be so fast, but at the same time you have a lot of people that's gonna probably break records. Think about it. The track itself plays a major part of how an athlete run. Because you may run on a track where the track is actually very steep, which means that it may have like concrete underneath it instead of like a rubbery substance. Because on the cover of the track, it's like a rubbery substance, unless if the track has like a grass bottom area and then the track is more layered out. But if not, then you would definitely see that the track plays a advantage as well of how you run, basically. Like, you may see some athletes there over when they run overseas, they run very faster, but when they come to a certain place, like for an example, Usain Bolt, right? When he first did, almost, let's say, 2008, because a lot of people don't know, Usain Bolt did run at the Athens Olympics. He basically got knocked out of the 200. That was his first debut as a youngster, right? Flash forward 4 years later, Usain Bolt was definitely gearing up as he got closer to the Beijing Games. He was dropping times like crazy. He even got close to Tyson Gay's time. By the time he spoke to his coach and the deal that they basically made to basically make him faster by training hard and training completely different than he normally should, by the time Usain Bolt got to the Beijing game, he won and became the Olympic champion, right? And then from then on, this was considered as the era of Bolt because not only he broke the world record in Beijing, he came back in 2009 and set another record, which that record now stands, I think, I don't know how many years now, but it's been such a long time. Since 2009 all the way up to now, that's almost like a whole decade has passed since Usain Bolt broke that world record, and no one hasn't even got close. And when you even got to make you guys understand how insane that is, a 9.58 is so far outreach for some people right now, except for a few athletes that are running very good right now. You also have the other world record that Usain Bolt holds, which is the 200 meters. He basically broke that also in 2009. He broke that the 1919. That was literally the greatest race that a lot of people would never seen because some of the people that I follow that actually ran with Usain Bolt indicate that I think it was raining that day or something happened that day and they had to sit down for a while. And the fact that Usain Bolt could have even gone faster than what we saw and still managed to break the record with a 1919. The only person that has come close to Usain Bolt's time is another fellow Jamaican, which is Ewan Blake, which he is the second fastest man in the 200. He has a time of 19.26, which is arguably the second fastest all time. Like most of the Jamaicans and some of the Americans have all time records and the top 10 times in history. So to put that into perspective, how to train for such a long time to make every team, because making some countries is very hard to make their teams because of how good they are. Like Jamaica's one of them. The US is another one. The US basically is like, we don't care how fast you are now. How fast can you be next year and the year before? So, uh, hey, bro, use hashtag on your live. It definitely recommends you more. Definitely, I'll definitely do that. Like I said, I'm still getting used to, um, you know, I'm still getting used to the whole thing, but I'm definitely gonna learn how to like put like the hashtags and stuff. But thank you so much. That I really recommend. I really appreciate that. I'm gonna learn how to do that for the next episode. Since this is our season 2, my day back, I'm still trying to put a lot of things together. Like if you could see, I have a different microphone thing that I use instead of what I usually had before. But yeah, I'm just so pumped. I'm just so excited. Like if you see behind me, I do have a poster of Allison, one of the races she did at the London 2012. The quote that she put up there stuck with me. Like sometimes you gotta pretend you're so hungry, like practice that you never trained before. And that stuck with me because sometimes you gotta make sure that you have to leave everything behind in order for you to focus on that sole goal to achieve it. And that brings me back again to Allison, like when she won at the London 2012 200. Imagine losing to the same person twice and you don't know what to do else. Like when you were younger, you made an Olympic team, and it's not rare. It's very rare to have someone that comes straight from high school become pro and makes an Olympic team and got a silver medal behind Veronica Campbell Brown. And then Veronica beat her twice. '04 and '08. So Allison had to change coaches. She had to do so many different things because she felt like there was nothing for her to do but to like dedicate herself. So for the past 8 to 7 years after Beijing and Athens, she literally dug herself into training, and as a result, she became the Olympic champion in 2012. So it's pretty cool to see the hard work that she has put in. Um, I know she's gonna be doing the mixed relay, but I'm not sure they're gonna also ask her to do the 4x4. I would love to see her do 4x4 and the mixed relay because, as we know, she has the world record with the other athletes from Doha World Championship in 2019 on the mixed relay, and then she also has the one of the top best times in the 4x4. As people don't realize, she has some of the fastest splits and for the females, she has some of the fastest splits, like 47.7, 48.5, or 49 low. Like she has some fast splits, you know. So I commend her for running so long. Like people didn't see it like that. Like especially when she won last year with a bronze medal at the Tokyo Olympics, people was like, well, she could have come in first, but you don't judge an athlete that has been doing this for such a long time just with medals. Like her getting a bronze is like gold because it goes to show, yeah, I've been such in the game for such a long time. I'm able to not only be at the top three. Allison never left out with no medal. And even Usain Bolt is like that too. When you have athletes that they could give you the same repeat of the same times that she's been doing for the past how many years? She has at least 20 or 22 years under her belt for track and field. And that's a long time. That's a long, long, long time. So the fact that some of the great athletes are either retiring, and then you have some athletes like Shelly and Fraser Price, which is arguably, I don't look. I love Elaine Thompson. I love Elaine Thompson. She is the joint queen of track and field with Shelly Ann. But Shelly Ann has done something that nobody don't even talk about. She has some of the she surpassed Merlene Ottey for the most sub 10 times in history. Like she has so much top 10 winner, and it's crazy. I wanted to speak about this. From what I was hearing, when Shelly Ann first debuted, they didn't like her at first because at that time it was Veronica Campbell Brown that was reigning as the favorite. So when she first stepped into the scene in 2008, nobody liked her until she became Olympic champion. Like she was like, "Yeah, I'm here now. You guys gonna respect that, and I'm gonna make sure that you guys appreciate what I'm about to do in the next 10 to 5 years." Flash forward, Shelly not only became the Olympic champion one time, she became the world champion, and then followed by that, she basically started giving butt whoopings for the next decades or so. The only time Shelly lost was due to a hamstring and no, a toe injury, and she had to sit that out. And even on her worst days, she's beating people that has been running their whole season. So the fact that you have a Shelly at an age right now that's literally 34, 35. No, I think Allison is older than her because she's 36. Shelly is, I think, 34. And she says she's not stopping until she see herself like at 40, or she even planned on even running at the Paris Olympics, which is 1 year before the next World Championships is next year. And then Paris 24 will be 2024. So this is crazy to even see that happening right now. All I know is, and all I believe is, whatever that we about to see tomorrow, I think everybody should be in joy and you guys should also respect the athletes and appreciate what they have given to us, because it's not like I as an athlete tell people like this: to train for how many years and to still be on top of your game and beating the next person next to you, it's no joke. Like, you have to work so hard that just imagine that person next to you, because when you finally get to meet that person face to face, it's not gonna be just talk. Like, you're gonna have to sit there and calculate how you're gonna beat this person. Like, the world of track and field, times do not lie unless you're doing something that's illegal, and that's how you get in trouble for it. But track also is a very strict event. You have to see the good and the bad in order for you to like literally move on. So the cool part about track and field is you get to have like a community. You get to find people that you you could talk to, and at the same time they know your strong point and they know when you're down, because when you train as a group, you could see what everybody's going through, and you could also see everybody's strength and their weaknesses. This is why I say making like an Olympic team, or an Olympic um camp. You could literally see the easy, the bad of how everything goes down, and it's pretty cool. So that's just amazing to see things like that. So talking about the world record, let's talk about that. Last year at the 4x1, Jamaica became Olympic champions in the 4x1, but they didn't touch the world record. They got close to it because they ran a 41, I think 41:01, right? So they got very close. If they would have run anything faster, they could have got closer to it. That 40.82. But depending on who's coming in right now at the World Championship, like the person that's gonna be coming in, they need to, if they put, like for an example, if they put Shelly Ann for, I would say, start or anchor, I wouldn't mind putting Shelly Ann anchor. They could put Elaine Thompson for third leg, and then they're missing two more. Sharika Jackson could be for second leg, because I think she could run the second leg. Then for the person that should start it off, that's another. People don't never look at it like this. Like, people that normally start off first leg could be something such as, the first leg is what kicks off the race. So if the first leg gets messed up, then everything else is gonna get messed up. So training, especially the training camps and how everything is scheduled up right now, is gonna be very hard to see that, how they're gonna put that together. But I believe my order, that's just my opinion. My order of who's gonna win the 4x1 for the women's side is either gonna be Jamaica, USA, and I might put Great Britain or the Sweden's for third place. Let me know what you guys think about that one. For my next pick for the women's 100, I think it's gonna take a 10.5 to win. Depending on how Shelly Ann opened up her season this year with a 10.67, right? She not only ran it at the Kepkenyo Classic in Nubia, she came back at the Paris Diamond League and ran a 10.67 again. So that's another thing people don't question. If an athlete peaks too early, then they're gonna start drastically losing the speed that they were controlling to get to the championships. So if your speed is declining now, it's basically like indicating like your body now saying like, yeah, your season is over. You have to rethink a lot of things. So that could be another thing as well. But on the other side, this is Shelly Ann. So I believe that she has something even great in store. In order for you to be considered as like a sub 10 or sub this runner, if you can't run it for 3 times, if you can't run a sub 10 3 times, or sub 60, or a, you know, 10-7 runner, you can't, if you can't run it for 3 times, then you're not a sub 10 runner or a sub 70 runner. You could only run a like 10-8. If you can't run a 10-8 3 times, or a 10-7 3 times, you're not a sub 10 or sub 7 runner. Now Shelly, as she gets older, she's literally stepping into a different territory. She's running even faster than she was doing back in her younger days. And she's training more strategically. Like what happened to her last year, I think she got ahead of herself because she has some of the best starts in the world. Like she just shoots out the blocks. That's why they call her the mommy rocket. Like she be shooting off the blocks, and by the time she's like 3 or 4 meters ahead, she's gone. But Elaine Thompson is slightly the opposite. She doesn't have a perfect start, but the front mechanics, her endurance to withhold her strength and relaxation is what made her one even last year. When she ran that Olympic last year with the time, I was actually happy because a lot of people think that Miss Florence Griffith Joyner's time, Flojo, everybody think that her time is like fake until somebody comes along and break it. People would think that that person, you know, did something to their body or took some enhancement. But people don't realize that the person that trained her, and the concept of relaxation and training, or even in track and field, run fast but run relax, so that way your body just let, like how they would normally say, let the speed flow. That's literally what she did. If you go back and watch some of her races, it basically let the speed flow. She doesn't really, you know, she doesn't really let, like, for an example, she doesn't really just, you know, do something just because, it's gonna benefit her. Because if you have the speed but don't have the endurance, then it's like, what's the use of it? That's literally what it is. So yeah. So I put a small hashtag on there so that if anybody is interested in, like, checking the podcast out, you guys could share that. That would be greatly appreciated if you guys are interested. But yeah, it's crazy to see on the men's side. Now I'm not sure about how it's gonna be, over there, but you have new faces, like I said, still in the women's 100 meters. You have Abby Steiner, which is from Kentucky. She's been running pretty great. She has a personal best of 2180. And, sadly, Gabby Thomas couldn't run at the World Championship. So we might see her next year at the next World Championship, which I don't know if where it's going to be. I think Hungary or Budapest. I wasn't sure which where this World Championship is going to be next year. But hopefully once she recovers, she would, get back into her training and get ready for next year's World Championships. Another, you know, you have Abby Stein and you have the sleeper, Sharika Jackson, who I think, due to last year she missed the Olympic champion mark, to like in the 200. She's out for like revenge. And the way that she's been running, even like in the Paris 200, she won. She actually got the meet record. So she's been timing her events drastically. And this year's World Championship, like I tell you guys, for the women's side, is probably the most heated argument right now. Like, do you think the worker is going to be broken? In my belief, Somebody's gonna get close to the 200 record before the 100. I'm not sure why I'm saying that, but that's just how I'm feeling right now. The 100 record might be broken first before the 200, because the 200 is because it's doubled, and the fact that we have so many people right now running such amazing time. Because last year, a lot of people thought that last year was like a fluke. Everybody was running so fast, but now last year's looking like a preseason to this one. Everybody's running so fast this year than last year. Like last year, we got it's like a continuous chapter where we left off last year's. Elaine Thompson ran at the Nike Pre Classics with a time of 10.54 and becoming the all-time second fastest woman of all time. And then Shelly comes back out of nowhere and did a 10.63, a 10.64, and then a 10.60. So right now, Shelly and Elaine are the two fastest people right now walking. And if they were to break the world record, and I remember I did a video way back, way back. I said the way I'm seeing everything going down right now, it's gonna take a 1050, and I believe the first round we get tomorrow for the women's or men's 100. Shelly might run like a 1060 for the first round, and then second round she runs like a 1059, and then for finals she might run like a 1050 or something. Either will take a 1050 or 1055 to even beat either Elaine or Shelly, because those two are the only one that's competing with each other right now. We do have the third place um silent killer, which is Sharika Jackson. It might be I'm just saying it might be a Jamaican sweep depending on how everybody's running right now. You know, at the Jamaican trial, I think Sharika Jackson won. I'm not sure if I'm not sure if she's gonna try to do like the 200 or something like that for you know, no, the 400, because she used to be a 400 runner. So I'm not sure if she would go back to that or if she's done with the 400 entirely. But all the years that she's been running 400, she's basically like she said, she's going back to her roots. Because I remember she said that she used to run 100 meters, but not too much. She normally did 400. So now she's running pure. She now consider herself as a pure sprinter. Like she could run 100, 200, and she could run a 400 if she has to. So when I think of Sharika Jackson, she is a equivalent athlete to Allison Felix, because Allison can run hundreds, she can run the 200, and she can run the 400, right? So when we start looking at that, when you run a longer event, your body should be less tired than some other athletes, because you could put more pressure on yourself than any other athlete, which is pretty cool. Then we flash forwarding it to the other athletes that are coming in. We have Aaliyah Hobbs. We have what's her name? TT Terry. We have Marcel Marciana Jefferson, which became the um, American champion with a time of 10.69. So that's another thing too. You have some Americans that are coming in that are very fast as well. So the cool part is like who's gonna win. But to for some of the Americans to be coming in to even be fighting these crazy how crazy these Jamaicans are running, it's gonna take a special time for whoever that's gonna win beat to beat them. Okay, so then we also gonna be talking about the on the men's side. You have the Christian Coleman, You have Fred Curley, you have Kenny Benerick, you have what's his name? I don't know. Yeah, you have Marcel Jacobs, which is the Italian, but also the Olympic champion, and he beat um, Christian Coleman at the World Indoors this year. Like by 1 point of a second, he did that, and they almost had the same time, but Marcel outleaned, Christian Coleman. So to me, if you think about that, that means we didn't see Marcel run too many events. We just saw that either he had some injuries, but he said his stomach was killing him. So now he even made a statement that he's ready to get his medal and then move on. So, but we have some heavy hitters. We have Trayvon Bromell, we have Fred Curley, we have Christian Coleman, who is the defending champion. We have a slew of other faces of athletes that's gonna be dropping in tomorrow, and whoever got whoever's gonna win, the time's gonna have to be faster than anybody else coming in, because you're not about to beat anybody, especially the silver medalist, which is Fred Curley, and the bronze medalist, and you also have the Olympic champion. So we have a lot of athletes right now that could win, but when you look at an athlete like such as Fred Curley, who did something that no other athlete has done at the USA's. He ran I think his first round ran at like a 980, and then his second round he runs like a 976 or something like that, and then his final he did the same thing. He gave us the same time back to back to back to back. No athlete has done that. And mind you, people don't realize Fred Curley started off as of, for some reason, a lot of the world record holders or world record champions tend to be 400 runners that end up stepping down from their event and running the sprints. Like we even saw that from what's his name, Shawnee Miller, who did some 200s but came back and went back up to win the 400, becoming the second person to defend her title from 2016 to 2020. So if she were to do that 3 times, she'll be the only athlete to defend her Olympic title for 3 Olympic cycles, which will be tough because that will cement herself in history. But then she did mention that the 400 will be her last event. She do not see herself running this event anytime soon, but she is planning on stepping down to the 200, which a lot of people want to step to the 200. You know, um, it's a very popular event. And then when you see the defending champion on the men's side, you have Noah Lyles, you have Arian Knighton is coming. He's coming to trying to get that medal, and he ran a time of 1949, so making him I think fourth fastest of all time, behind Noah Lyles, which his 9.5 makes him fourth fastest man of all time, right? But some people don't take losing quite nicely, which means that you might end up getting a rude awakening coming for this world championship, this starting tomorrow. um the coolest thing is that we're getting athletes that never got certain spotlights, but they're definitely pushing even further than how they normally should. And to see them flourish, it's a lot. Like a couple of weeks ago, we had some athletes from out of Great Britain that were running the season when Usain Bolt was running his final season in 2017. They started becoming faster. There's a lot of athletes that normally people never pay attention to, but now they definitely stepping up. Um, but yeah, on the men's side for the 100 meters, This will be my prediction. Okay, all right, bro. I'm heading out, working. I got future ideas for you, and I will share to you later. Oh, thank you so much, bro. Zai, I definitely appreciate that. Like I said, we have like an hour to do this podcast, and I can't wait. Hopefully one of those days I will find a way to make you join the podcast. We could talk about track and field if you want, or anything else. That would be cool. I will appreciate that. So definitely. But you have a good night and make sure you stay safe. But definitely, guys, I'm so excited. I also wanna talk about Cindy McLaughlin. She is like she's so powerful, and the type of coach she has, which is Bobby Kersey, who also trains Allison at USA's. She literally dropped her time and broke another record. I believe in my prediction, and that's just speaking from inside. She might run a 49.99 to win the USA World Championships, making that worker so far out reach that nobody's gonna touch that. It's gonna be those type of records similar to Flojo. Like they're gonna be like, did she really broke that record or was it just a fluke? It's gonna be those legendary status. Her, Christian Wormhole, I forgot which other athlete that has so many world record, and they are so good at what they good. They're so damn good at what they do that they don't have nothing to prove to anybody in that area of expertise when it comes to that event. And when you think of 400-meter hurdles, everybody's gonna just automatically think of Cindy McLaughlin. They're not gonna think of anybody else. The only person they're gonna think of is Cindy McLaughlin or Dalilah Muhammad or Finkable, because Finkable is the third fastest athlete behind them too, and she was last year very good. And coming in from what I checked, Dalilah Muhammad had been dealing with some issues like um, basically COVID due to a lot of things that have happened. She wasn't able to like properly train, but she's still a big factor of winning and or getting in the podium. You do have Finca Bull herself that has been running great and making the team. I think she ran a 52:21 or something like that to win her one of the races that she was running. And then you also have Cindy McLaughlin. Every time she step on the track, nobody's gonna say nothing because they think either she's gonna break a record or she's gonna do something so crazy that everybody's gonna agree with it. You know. So I believe Cindy McLaughlin, and that you guys could hear that from me today. Today's the 15th, which in a few hours we might start seeing things from World Championships. Get ready. I believe Cindy McLaughlin is going to break the world record again with a time of 49.99, which will put the worker so far out reach. She didn't even go crazy before, so she didn't have nobody pushing her at the USA Championships. So imagine everybody's trying to come after her. That's gonna push you even more to run faster. I believe she's gonna break that record and put it so far out. And the little Muhammad or Finkable might get her old record. That's what I believe. Um, my third prediction is who I think might win the 200 meters for the women's. Hmm. If Elaine is just worrying about how she's training, because we haven't seen anything crazy fast from Elaine. She ran a 22:25. She ran a 1080. Now, due to like, I remember she said she had like a shoulder injury or something like that. I believe Elaine might come in second or third. It's gonna be an upset. Either Elaine wins or Sharika wins, and I think the American Jefferson or TT Terry might end up getting for the 200. That's what I believe. Yeah, that's what I believe. And it's gonna take a 2150 or a 2150 or 2160 to win the 200 meter. I don't think nobody's touching that world record yet. I don't think so. Are there some? That's another problem too. If everybody's going so fast, so far, and between, then I could see them getting close to it. But since everybody is running fast, as we go to the rounds, either some people will give it too much of their all, if you understand what I mean. If you have a first round, you will look to push a little further just to get to the second round. And then second round was like I have to win to get to the final. So I'm gonna give it half or 80%. So the rest of the 20% you would have to focus on giving it to something else. So that's why I believe either Elaine Thompson, Sharika Jackson, or the American winning the 200, or Abby Steiner might come in and get the third or even second. It's gonna be an upset. It's gonna be very, very interesting how this is gonna go. Now, let's go back to the men's 100 and 200. Because everybody's so focused on Arian Knighton or what's his name? Noah Lyles. There's some people that a lot of people are not talking about. I think Fred Curley also announced that he is running the 200 as well. So I believe by the time they start focusing on the 200 or 400 at least, 200 or 100, Fred Curley will be more relaxed. So by the time he joins to run the 200, he'll have enough time to rest compared to everybody else that's going to be running back to back. And because Fred Curley it was a 200 meter, he has the ability to don't feel overly tired because of the 400 speed strength and how much it takes to run the 400, because the 400 is probably one of the hardest sports like events to do, because you're not only running at full speed, you're running it tactically. So even if you run fast or slow, you're still gonna feel the pain regardless. That's a big factor too. Depending on how fast you go in each round, you're probably gonna be very exhausted by the time you get to your final. Okay? So now let's talk about who might I think win. So, thank you. Arian Knighton is stepping up to his own. But let's not forget he's still a kid. He's still a kid, so even though they're pushing him so much to be so great as a professional athlete, and he is, but I think they're also doing him more justice, like more harm than good, because I always tell people like when you're an athlete in high school, like you could run around and move around as much as you can, but when you start running some serious track meets, and let's say you get injured from those things, it do something to you like psychologically that you don't want it to happen to you again. So eventually a lot of students or a lot of athletes will burn themselves out when they get to high school, but by the time they get to like college, they can't replicate the same time that they used to, because they're so burned out from high school of running so many events so brutally that their body is so fatigued to be at the next level. So Arian Knight, as good as he is, as he grow older, you don't want that to be a factor, you know. But if it's up to me right now, I'm seeing myself giving Noah Lyles a slight edge over him and giving him the second place spot, and then giving Arian Knighton the third place. For first place, I'm standing between Fred Curley if he runs the 200, or Noah Lyles, because he also have like a bye getting to the you know getting to the World Championship. Now for the men's 100, I believe. Hmm, I believe this. I believe Fred Curley's gonna win. Marcel Jacob is gonna be either second or third. Christian Coleman might take second. So it's gonna be the Americans 1 and 2, and then Italian, and then everybody else. Because this is Marcel Jacob first, um, I guess first Olympics, not Olympics, um, World Championships. So if he's not doing what he's supposed to, then you're gonna lose that race. But if he's been getting ready all this time just to beat everybody, then people gotta find out how he trains. Okay, that would be a big thing too. Another event that I'm very interested in would be the men's and women's 100 meters intermediate hurdles. We have a gentleman as of name of Devin Allen, which sadly, his dad passed away. But due to all that energy and all that passion, I believe that he's gonna run faster, and he gotten close to that world record, that world record that is held by Aries from the Americans. And I believe that if he gets close, anything closer, because he's actually been the only athlete that has um, ran a 13, I think 1301 or 13 something, in the 100 meter 10 intermediate hurdles. So it's a lot. It's a lot, and I believe he might win over the defending champion himself. I think Grant. I think his name is Grant Holloway or something. So definitely, that's my pick. Now let's look at the 400 meters. No, better before that. For the 110 intermediate, I got who do I got? Either the Olympic champion from 2016, or hmm, okay, that one I don't know. I will have to go back and check on it. But another event I want to see is um the men's 400 hurdles. You have Rai Benjamin, who is running phenomenally, and you also have Santos, Allison Santos, um, who hailed from Brazil and all, but the times that he has been running is insane, and he might be one of the favorites to win and get to the podium. You know, so you have Rai Benjamin, and then you have himself. Who's gonna win? Now, another another people that we might talk about too, on the opposite, is the 400 for the men. You have Michael Norman, who's coming in with one of the fastest time, with a time of 43:60. You have the Olympic and world record holder, um, Wayne Venegar, has which has been looking super strong, coming into the World Championships. If we get at least, like they said, if we get at least 50% or 20 or even 70% of Wayne back, he's dusting a lot of people off. And somebody even mentioned that, depending on how fast a lot of people are going to be going, how what time you're gonna need to actually even beat somebody at the world champion. Because remember the last world championship, Shelly Ann ran a 1080 and came back and ran a 1081 or 1070, and it was shocking that 1094 didn't even place in the world championship because everybody ran so damn fast. Like I said, whatever the leader is gonna be to break or get close to a time, everybody else is gonna follow. But at the same time, the times that everybody's gonna run is gonna benefit everybody. Because I remember when that world record was broken, the 400 in 2016, everybody from that world record was running 43s. Everybody ran. I think it was. They said it was 6:43 seconds, and then the rest was 44s. Nobody ran something slower than that, which was insane. Like 2016 was probably one of the fastest 400 years because everybody was running so damn fast. Let's move on to the next thing. Um, let's talk about the men's 4x1. Who they should put, who should they not put. For me, they should definitely add Fred Curley, Christian Coleman, of course, Noah Lyles. It's when it start getting to the no better. I forgot. Um, Bromel. Bromel won, I think, almost won the USA's. I think he came in second. And then you had Marvin Bracy at the USA also got third, and that made up the team. So either way, they could rotate things around and they could still win. Now that I don't feel they don't have that many challenge coming into the World Championships. That's just my opinion because the U.S. I think won 2019 with some of the same team, and some of them know how to pass the baton already with each other. So it's gonna be easier for them to like put that chemistry back in. So I believe America is getting the win for not only the 400 4x4, but also the 4x1. They're gonna win the both the relays. That's what I believe. Now for the Jamaican side, I think that for the 4x1 they might win, but for the 4x4, I think the women's for the Americans gonna win. That's already cemented. But yeah, guys, um, I think Santos or Rai Benjamin, or it's gonna be very close. It's gonna be very very close. Okay, guys. Um, and then lastly, we also have the javelins and all these other events that's gonna be happening. So, but most of the interesting ones are the ones that I think a lot of people are gonna be looking towards too. How would this benefit, the next upcoming championships and to see, what can be done from them. Okay, guys. Um, then lastly, like I said, let me know what you guys think about tomorrow, you know, and I'll definitely be, we're gonna set up more things. There's more people coming to the podcast. We're gonna be discussing the times and who ran and like what's gonna be, what's the prediction of it, who might win the world championship as a whole. Like it's gonna be very good, guys, to cover this. And like I said, this was my first opening for season 2 of my podcast. So I'm so excited. Like I said, can't wait for you guys to see more that's coming. But other than that, guys, let me know what you guys think. What do you guys want to see on the channel besides, the podcast that is going on? And I also wanted to mention that, before we wrap things up, we do have, I remember I was talking about the Black is King experience thing that happened. Beyonce did. I will be making some reaction videos to it. So if that's something you guys are interested in, we also have American Horror Story, season two, horror stories, which will be airing on the 21st of this month. So we have a lot of different things that's gonna be happening. So I hope you guys are excited. I will be covering each thing. So after the World Championships, we will be talking about the Black is King album, and then we will also follow by some American Horror Story videos. Okay, guys. Thank you guys for staying with me. I know it's kind of late where some of you guys are right now, but I know that you guys gonna enjoy this when you guys wake up. I made some predictions. So before I go, I will name each of the predictions so you guys could get a better understand. So like I said, for the women's 100 meters, for the final or even the semifinal, I think either Shelly Ann or Elaine or Sharika Jackson or any other of the female athletes that are running fast right now are gonna run very fast in the first round and second round. But it's when they start getting to the third round and final, that's when it's gonna get difficult. But I believe to win the women's 100 meters this year, you must at least run at least a 10:50 or a 10:55, something close to that range. For the 200 meters for the woman, I'm giving it to either Abby Steiner or Sharika Jackson. I do not see Elaine Thompson winning this time, but probably next year. Um, so that's that. Definitely on the 400-meter hurdles for women, I have Cindy McLaughlin winning it with another world record performance with a time of 49.99. I truly believe in that. She can go faster. Look who the coach is. Look who's her coach, and that's the same person that trained Flojo, guys. So I believe I have mad faith in Bobby Kersey because he also trained Allison Felix, and look how far Allison Felix is now. Um, but I believe that's gonna be that. And then for third place, we may have Thinkable, or for second place, we could even rotate that around. We may have the little Muhammad in third place, and then Thinkable could be in second place. For the men's 400-meter hurdles, I might have to give it to Allison Santos or Rai Benjamin. Rai Benjamin is gonna come in short, but I believe it might be Rai Benjamin winning it, and then Santos is gonna get second, but it's gonna be very neck to neck. They might not even know who won. That's how close that 400 is gonna be. Um, my second thing is going to be the women's 110 hurdles. I think I got Camacho Quinn winning it because she's also the Olympic champion, and also she's gonna be defending it in front of a lot of people. I have yeah, there's a lot of people I think that's gonna be Shamir Little. I think she has second. I think she gets second. Um, for the 400 meters women, because Shawnee Miller is still gonna be running this, I don't think nobody's touching her in the 400. So she gets fourth. She gets first. Shawnee Miller gets first, and for the rest of the people, I got Miss Diggs winning for the 400 second place, and then everybody else could come after for third place. That's how I see it. Because we don't even have some of the faster runners in the 400s or doing anything right now. Then lastly, the 4x1, the 4x4, the mixed relays. I believe the U.S. may sweep on the mixed relay because Allison's gonna be in it, and the last time she was in it, they set a world record. That would be cool if she beats her own record, because this will be her farewell. So that means she will have three world record on her belt, which will be pretty cool for Allison. For the 4x1 for the women's, I believe Jamaica's gonna win. No, yeah, I believe Jamaica's gonna win because the team that the U.S. have right now, even though they're fresh, they don't really have that much of a chemistry. That's might be the edge. The only time I would see Jamaica losing the 4x1 is if somebody start off their handoff, if it's very bad. Um, then we have the 4x4 for the men's. I believe the men U.S. is gonna get that one. For the men's 4x1, I believe the men's are gonna get that one too. That's what I believe. But like I said, guys, thank you guys so much. I really wanted to explain each and every one of those, you know, breakdowns of each of the predictions that I think who might win and the times that's gonna be needed for them to actually win. Let me know what you guys think. I will be streaming some things tomorrow, hopefully live, and to discuss what I see in each round and my predictions. So thank you guys so much for sticking with me. The video of the podcast will be there tomorrow. You guys could sit and watch the entire video of the podcast. Like I said, this was my welcome back podcast. So there was a first video basically explaining like welcome back and how you guys been and everything. This one is gonna be just closing off that part. So in total, I did you know, all that for the opening for season two. Like I said, we have so much to talk about for season two and what that the whole feeling of the year is gonna be like. Um, season two, the first one covered the first half of the year. This one's gonna cover the rest of the year. Um, thank you guys so much. Like I said, we're gonna try to see if we could add like people to speak on the podcast and you know some track people. I'm gonna see if I could work my connections to bring some people into the podcast and to discuss a lot of things, which will be very needed and very cool. But thank you guys so much. I truly appreciate that. And I cannot wait to share more with you guys like this. As always, if you guys want to catch the podcast, it's going to be every. I have the location for the time and schedule, so that way you can know exactly when I go air on my podcast. So just keep bear with me, guys. So yeah, so it's going to be every Friday. Like I said before, it's gonna be every Friday from 10:30 to 12:50. Okay, I hope that's the time that you guys could put it in your calendars. So every Friday from 10:30 to 12:50, you guys gonna get a podcast from me, and I hope you guys enjoy. I'll see you guys later. You guys have a good night. Be safe, and later. I am your host. So this was the podcast. I'm Sleepy Celestial. I am your host, and thank you guys for having me. Have a good night.